Movies, fiction, all that jazz media, it has had a massive impact on culture at large. No surprise. But it's had that way, especially movies, since its inception. The first essentially feature length movie where there are even tenets of cinematography and film that are still at play were pioneered by Birth of a Nation. It was revisionist history, it completely it's just all lies. None of it's true. But that film, insanely impactful. That film was also screened at the White House. So I don't feel irrational or bizarre talking about culture at large, politics, when I'm talking about movies. I mean, half of the reason figures like a Mark Driscoll have talked about demons the way they have is because they are taking points from a film, The Exorcist, and basically everything else that spawned from that movie. It's also why I think you have an entire collection of people who believe you're only racist if you're a particular cartoonish depiction of racism. They think racism is American History X. They think you're only racist if you tell people to bite curbs. But the reality is that racism is much more complicated than the depictions in film, which are always going to be understated because there's only 90 minutes to 2 hours to talk about the things that they have to. So they have to find simple ways to do it. That's why one of the quickest ways to establish a type of relationship between characters is to have them sleep with each other, because it immediately breaks down certain social barriers between those characters to explain to you what you should know moving forward. So, when the most powerful person on the planet, most influential person on the planet, perhaps the second most known person to say they're Christian on the planet, apart from the Pope, posts a picture of any black person as a monkey, I am not out of my depth in saying that's racist, as well as the other things that he's done.
I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. I could say that about other countries too. Somalians, can you imagine? And they don't do it. A lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it. We can go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
The problem is, if you're looking at that and that was what crossed the line, then you have a Hollywood depiction of racism. You have a fictionalized depiction of what racism is. You have a fictionalized depiction of probably ethics and morality, and it's all been developed by film, by media, not by your peers, not by your parents, not by church, because most of the time spent learning is probably through media and fiction, commercials, all sorts of stuff that you're consuming. No one has ever overtly come at me or said in the comments, like, Melvin, why do you talk about politics? Why do you talk about things like this? You're a movie podcast, right? I've gotten negative reviews that have said, like, oh, you got the woke mind virus or stuff like that. But you have to be completely out of your depth to not realize that the way people are engaging a lot of this stuff is because of what they've learned through fiction. I mean, the medium is the message, and all the interactions people have with this stuff is through a screen. I'm just not going crazy when I say that everyone's treating these things like they're a movie.